My friends, the greatest prison in the world is not built of stone walls, iron gates, or cold bars. It is built within the mind of man, a fortress carefully constructed by his own disbelief and self-doubt. Each thought of limitation adds another brick. Each moment of fear lays another layer of mortar. And what makes this prison most tragic is that the inmate and the jailer are the same being, you. Every time you say, "I can't," you reinforce the boundaries that confine you. Every time you look at your dream and whisper, "It's too hard," you tighten the chains that bind your potential. Yet even within this mental dungeon, the key to freedom lies close at hand. It is found in two divine tools, imagination and faith. Imagination is the light that shows you the way out, and faith is the courage to step through the open door. Together they form the power of creation itself. You were never meant to live as a captive of your fears. You were designed to command your reality, to speak worlds into being, to shape circumstances by the inner certainty of your vision. You see, your world is not some external arena separated from you. It is, rather, yourself pushed out, the grand projection of your inner states of consciousness. Everything that meets you, the friends you have, the opportunities that appear, the obstacles that arise, each one is a reflection of your own internal conversations. If you secretly doubt yourself, the world has no choice but to mirror that doubt back to you in form, circumstance, and encounter. But when you walk in the quiet assurance of faith, the universe responds like a faithful servant to your inner command. Life does not obey the language of your words or the desperation of your desires. It answers the vibration of your being, what you are conscious of being in every moment. This is why two people can live in the same world yet experience completely different realities. One sees opportunity where another sees failure. One feels abundance where another feels lack, all because their inner conversations differ. The outer world is nothing but an echo chamber, repeating what you believe about yourself. Doubt, dear friends, is the seed of separation. It whispers to you, you and your desire are two different things. It tells you that you must work, wait, and worry before what you want can come. But faith, real living faith, declares, I and my desire are one. Faith collapses time and distance. It recognizes that the thing longed for already exists in the unseen realm, awaiting only your recognition to become visible. This is the eternal secret of creation. The instant you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you merge with your desire in consciousness. You cease to long for it and begin to live from it. From that moment forward, the universe begins to rearrange itself in subtle, precise, and often miraculous ways to reflect your new state of being. People will appear, opportunities will open, coincidences will multiply, all aligning with the reality you have assumed. But the law remains the same. Until you feel one with your desire, you are affirming its absence. And as long as you affirm absence, that is all life can give you. Many of us speak words of affirmation, yet our hearts silently deny them. We say, I am prosperous, while trembling at the sight of unpaid bills. We declare, I am loved, yet feel unworthy of affection. We affirm, I am strong, yet bow before the appearance of challenge. This is the divided mind, the double consciousness that sabotages creation. For you cannot serve two masters. Faith and fear cannot dwell in the same house. You cannot declare belief while secretly worshiping doubt. The law of consciousness does not respond to the words you speak. It responds to the feeling you radiate. Words are empty vessels until they are filled with conviction. You may speak eloquently abundance, yet if your inner feeling is lack, the law will obey your feeling, not your statement. The world is not fooled by pretense, it is governed by vibration. Therefore, guard not only what you say, but more importantly, what you feel. To feel rich while seeing little is faith. To feel love before the evidence appears is mastery. To feel whole in the face of loss is divine power in motion. Your imagination, my friends, is not some idle amusement, not a plaything for fantasies or idle thoughts. It is the creative power of God Himself expressing through you. When you imagine a scene vividly, when you give it life through feeling, you are not daydreaming, you are creating in the unseen realm of substance. Every image you hold with emotional conviction is a seed planted in the garden of eternity. That seed must sprout into fact in its own appointed season. The only question that determines the outcome is this: will you persist in faith long enough to see it bloom? Or will you dig it up prematurely with worry and fear? Most people imagine one thing and believe another. They plant seeds of wealth and water them with doubt, then wonder why no harvest comes. But if you can remain faithful to your inner vision, if you can feel the reality of your desire long enough for it to take root, nothing in heaven or on earth can prevent its manifestation. Imagination and faith are not childish illusions. They are the creative instruments of the divine mind operating in man. Stop doubting yourself. You are not a beggar kneeling before the gates of life, waiting for permission to enter. You are the life-giver, the dreamer, the creator of your own destiny. Every limitation you experience has been self-imposed through the misdirection of your consciousness. The universe does not restrict you. Your own belief in smallness does. You have been endowed with the same creative power that shaped the stars, yet you shrink from using it because you have forgotten who you are. You were never meant to live as a victim of circumstances. You were designed to command circumstances by the authority of your inner word. The world around you moves in obedience to the tones of your conviction. When you cease to doubt your own divinity, you step into your rightful role as the master of creation. You are not here to ask for favors from life. You are here to declare what is so and watch the universe reorganize itself around that declaration. The moment you stop waiting for signs and start assuming your identity as the creator, your world will bow to your consciousness. Every time you utter the words "I am," you are invoking the sacred name of God, the creative power that dwells within you. Be exceedingly careful what you attach to those two words, for they are the foundation of your being. When you say, "I am weak," you are not describing a temporary condition. You are decreeing a state of consciousness that must express itself. When you say, "I am strong," you summon that strength from the depths of your divine nature. "I am" is not just a statement, it is a creative command. Whatever follows, it becomes law in your world. I am is the root of all manifestation, the eternal awareness that gives birth to every experience. To misuse it is to speak curses over your own life. To use it consciously is to unlock heaven within. Therefore, let your "I am" be followed by words worthy of the divine presence within you. I am blessed, I am powerful, I am free. These are not mere affirmations, they are acts of creation. For you become what you claim in consciousness, and the outer world must obey your decree. Do not look outside yourself for signs of change, my friends. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. It is not the living truth, it is the shadow of your inner state. You can stare at the mirror all day, but until you change the expression on your face, the reflection will remain the same. The law of consciousness is exact and unbreakable. The outer must follow the inner. When you stop doubting and begin to live in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, the mirror of life has no choice but to reflect it back. This is not a poetic metaphor, it is spiritual physics. You cannot plant thorns and expect roses. You cannot sow fear and expect peace. The world is a mirror, faithful and unmerciful, showing you what you persist in imagining. So when you wish for a new world, do not waste your energy trying to rearrange outer conditions. Change yourself instead. Adopt a new inner tone. Feel the truth of your desire as if it were already present. And when that feeling becomes natural, the world will bend itself around your assumption. The mirror does not resist, it simply reflects. Some will say, "But Neville, how can I believe when everything I see denies my desire? How can I feel abundance when my pockets are empty? How can I feel loved when I am alone?" And I say to them, close your eyes, withdraw from the tyranny of appearances. The senses are wonderful servants, but poor masters. They show you only what has already been created, not what is coming into being. The world of the senses is the echo of your past states of consciousness, not a prophecy of your future. Therefore, if you wish to change your future, you must stop looking at the evidence of the past. Feel your desire as real within yourself, for imagination is the true reality. The unseen shapes the seen. The invisible gives birth to the visible. You are not called to fight facts. You are called to transform them by changing their cause, your inner assumption. So when the world says no, close your eyes and say yes in imagination, and hold that yes with feeling until it becomes your natural state. For feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible world. Faith, dear ones, is not a trembling hope that something might happen someday if the stars align or luck is kind. Faith is an unshakable knowing that it has already happened in the unseen and that its manifestation in the seen is inevitable. It is not passive. It is active participation in divine creation. When you walk as though your desire were already fulfilled, you align yourself with the vibration of its reality. Faith is not pretending. It is perceiving with higher sight. It bends time, circumstance, and even people to your inner conviction. The man of faith may appear irrational to those who worship appearances, or he celebrates victory before the battle begins. Yet his joy is not delusion. It is spiritual certainty. He lives as though the unseen were visible because to him it already is. Faith does not beg or plead. It commands quietly by knowing. When you say, "It is done," and truly feel that it is done, the unseen power begins its perfect orchestration. Events move, hearts shift, tasks open, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. That is the power of faith. It is creation before sight, vision before fact. When you stop doubting, something miraculous happens. You fall into harmony with the rhythm of the universe. You no longer push against life, you move with it. You are no longer trying to force the world to yield. The world begins to yield willingly. Obstacles that once seemed immovable now dissolve. People who once resisted now cooperate. Opportunities you once chased begin to appear of their own accord. You are not compelling things by sheer willpower. You are magnetizing them through alignment. The creative flow of the universe is always moving toward fulfillment, toward beauty, toward life. Doubt is the only resistance. The moment you release that resistance, you step into effortless manifestation. Things unfold with divine timing and precision. Coincidences multiply, synchronicities appear, and you begin to realize that the entire cosmos is conspiring to fulfill your assumption. You have not changed the world, you have changed your vibration. And the world, being your mirror, must respond accordingly. To command reality, you need not strain or struggle. You must simply be the state desired. The man who knows who he is never begs life to treat him differently. He radiates his assumption, and life complies. Do not think of your desire, my friends. Think from it. This is the great and subtle shift that transforms dreaming into creation. When you think of something, you acknowledge it as distant, separate, out there. When you think from it, you occupy it now. You walk, talk, breathe, and act from the position of fulfillment. To think of your dream is to wish for it. To think from it is to live in it. The secret of manifestation lies in this inner relocation. You do not wait for the world to bring your desire to you. You bring yourself inwardly to where your desire already is. Imagination is the bridge between where you stand and where you wish to be. Feel yourself in that state now. Smell the air of it. Hear the sounds. Touch the reality of it in your mind until it becomes as real as the physical world. When you dwell in that feeling long enough, life must conform, for consciousness is the only reality. What you occupy within, you soon occupy without. The world does not create your state. Your state creates the world. Your imagination is not idle fantasy. It is the divine workshop of creation itself. Every image you hold, every emotion you cultivate, every inner scene you rehearse with conviction is a blueprint for reality. The mind of man is the womb of the universe, and what you conceive there must one day be born. You are either building heaven or hell within the workshop of your imagination. Most people imagine unconsciously. They build fear, lack, and failure, and then curse the outer world for reflecting it. But the wise use imagination deliberately, knowing that each picture is a living seed. They feed it with feeling, protect it from the weeds of doubt, and let time ripen it into form. Imagination is the true act of creation. It is God in motion through you. When you understand this, you cease to fear the future, for you know you are its author. Each moment you imagine with emotion, you are writing tomorrow's script. Choose your inner pictures wisely, for the world is obedient to your inner movie. As within, so without. This is the law from which there is no escape. Stop asking for proof, my friends. Life will always show you evidence that matches your current belief, not the belief you hope to have. When you doubt, life gives you more to doubt. When you trust, life gives you more to trust. The law is impartial. It mirrors, not judges. If you plant seeds of doubt, it multiplies them. If you plant seeds of faith, it multiplies those. Many wait for outer proof before they believe, not realizing that proof is the offspring of belief, never its parent. You are the cause, not the effect. The moment you decide to trust in the unseen, you initiate a chain of events that must bring visible confirmation. But if you continue to test the law with skepticism, you'll live forever in the waiting room of manifestation. Believe first, feel it real first. Then the outer world, by divine necessity, must conform. The law works perfectly whether you know it or not. But when you consciously use it, you move from victimhood to mastery. You stop living reactively and begin living creatively. The world becomes your servant and your faith becomes its command. The world, my friends, does not bow to those who fight it with resistance and anger. It bows to those who understand it. It yields to the man or woman who knows the inner law, that outer circumstances are powerless compared to inner conviction. The one who masters reality does not do so by force, but by awareness. He knows that the outer world is only the visible garment of the invisible imagination. The wise man ceases to wrestle with shadows and instead changes the light within. To the unawakened, this seems like passivity, but in truth, it is supreme power. The man who truly knows the law of consciousness understands that creation is finished, that every state, every possibility already exists now in eternity. He does not create in the sense of making something new. He simply chooses the state he wishes to experience and occupies it in consciousness. He walks as though it were already so. And because the universe mirrors the inner assumption, that chosen state hardens into fact. The world bows not to effort, but to understanding. When you know the truth that imagining creates reality, you cease to beg, to chase, to struggle. You simply assume and you receive. Doubt, dear one, is not merely hesitation. It is the denial of your divinity. It whispers you are small, you are weak, you are separate from the infinite. But you are not separate, nor are you small. You are the image and likeness of the divine imagination, the embodiment of the creative spirit that dreamed galaxies into being. Every time you entertain doubt, you shrink your awareness from that vast truth. You forget that you and the world are one continuous field of consciousness, the seen and the unseen halves of a single whole. When you awaken to your divine identity, the world cannot help but obey you, because it is you made visible. To doubt is to betray your own power. To believe is to reclaim your throne. You were never meant to grovel before fate. You were meant to command it. You and your circumstances are not enemies, they are reflections. The moment you stand in the knowing of who you truly are, the eternal I am, everything begins to align. Your word becomes law. Your imagination becomes the architect of reality, and the world moves as your shadow, following faithfully behind your light. Let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich. Let the lonely say, I am loved. These are not delusions, they are declarations of divine truth claimed before evidence appears. To feel these truths before the world confirms them is to engage in the highest act of creation. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the umbilical cord that connects your unseen assumption to its physical manifestation. When you feel something deeply, when you know it with emotion, not intellect, you fertilize the seed of creation. Many fear that affirming what is not yet visible is lying to themselves, but I tell you it is not a lie, it is the truth seen from a higher plane. Faith claims now what reason postpones. When you say I am, you are not hoping. You are declaring your divine identity. The poor who says I am rich is not pretending. He is aligning himself with the abundance already existing within the infinite field of consciousness. What you feel to be true will, in due time, harden into the facts of your life. Do not concern yourself with the how. That question belongs to the realm of reason, not creation. The how is the mechanism by which the unseen arranges itself into form, and that operation is beyond your conscious management. Your task is not to figure out the path, it is to remain faithful to the end. Feel the wish fulfilled until that feeling becomes so natural that you no longer question it. Then, without strain, the invisible forces of the universe begin to move on your behalf. The means appear effortlessly. People, events, and circumstances align as though guided by an unseen intelligence. This is the mystery of faith. When you surrender the how, you invite the miraculous. The finite mind cannot predict the infinite's method. All it can do is maintain the state desired. So rest in that inner knowing, the feeling that your dream is already yours. Do not try to manipulate life into obedience. Trust that the law is already working perfectly. When you persist in that state without wavering, life arranges itself with uncanny precision to make your assumption visible. You are not the laborer of creation, you are its visionary. The greatest discovery I have ever made, my friends, is this. You do not need to struggle with the world at all. The outer world is not your enemy, it is your reflection. You are not meant to wrestle with circumstances, but to master yourself. Once you conquer the storm within, life itself becomes calm. Once you master your inner dialogue, your outer reality harmonizes with it. The man who tries to fight life from the outside is forever exhausted, for he is shadowboxing with his own reflection. But the one who turns inward and changes his assumption changes the whole world without lifting a finger. The moment you stop doubting yourself, the universe becomes your servant. It becomes your messenger, carrying out your inner decrees. This is not arrogance, it is divine cooperation. The world is not against you, it is responding to you. When you stand firm in faith, the invisible becomes visible and the impossible becomes ordinary. You cease to chase outcomes because outcomes now chase you. Stop doubting, and life, your own life, will bow to the authority of your consciousness. Look at your life as it is now. Every joy, every sorrow, every triumph, and every defeat, all of it is the harvest of past assumptions. Every event is a mirror of what you once believed to be true about yourself. If you wish for a new world, Begin not by cursing the old, but by assuming a new concept of self. You cannot bring new wine into old skins. You must renew your identity first. Stop doubting and dare to believe that you already are what you seek to become. Do not wait for evidence, create it. Imagine yourself already living in that state, speaking from it, walking in it, feeling it, until it becomes as natural as breathing. The outer world will then reflect your new self-concept as faithfully as a shadow mirrors the body that casts it. You are not trying to change external things, you are changing your inner assumption. And that change shifts everything. The secret is always yourself. You are the root, the seed, and the fruit. As you assume a higher truth about who you are, life reorganizes itself to prove you right. This teaching, my friends, is not mere theory. It is practice, a living experiment in consciousness. Tonight, before you close your eyes, choose one desire, just one. Then imagine a simple scene that implies your wish is fulfilled. It might be a friend congratulating you, or the feeling of gratitude in your chest as you rest in completion. See it clearly. Feel it vividly. Lose yourself in that scene until it feels real. Let your senses participate. Smell the air, hear the tone, feel the touch. When it feels real, release it. Fall asleep in that state, knowing that creation is complete. You have planted a seed in the infinite field of imagination, and it must bear fruit in its season. Do not wake and dig it up with anxiety. Rest in assurance. Life always fulfills the assumptions sustained with feeling. In time, that inner scene will harden into fact, and you will marvel at how perfectly the invisible became visible. This is the art of living by imagination, the divine art of creation. So I say to you, with all the conviction of experience, stop doubting yourself. Doubt is the only enemy you will ever have. The moment you trust your imagination, the moment you honor your inner voice, the world will bow to your commands. For the world is not separate from you. It is your obedient servant, reflecting the image you hold within. You are its master, its creator, its divine dreamer. The power that shaped the universe beats within your own awareness. Believe it deeply, walk in it boldly, and watch how life rearranges itself to match your faith. You will see doors open that were once locked, paths appear where none existed, and people moved by forces they cannot name. You will realize that nothing is impossible to the one who knows who they are. The world bends not to the arrogant, but to the awakened, to the soul that remembers its divine origin and acts from it. So rise in faith, stand in the authority of your I am, and let the universe echo back your inner decree, it is done.